Pardon the interruption, but I'm Michael Wilbon. Big news, Tone. The NCAA has approved unlimited meals and snacks.
I'm Tony Kornheiser. They better hope Jason Whitlock used up his eligibility.
Ooh.
Shots fired at Jason.
That was like that kid, Lorenzen, the quarterback in Kentucky.
The big kid.
Big kid who wound up with the nickname He Ate Me.
He ate me. Yeah.
Yeah. He said he tweeted out something to that effect.
This is a result of Shabazz Nation.
Well, good.
Saying that he goes to bed
There should be
hungry.
unlimited food.
It
should be.
Well, now there is.
You can have it in clubhouses everywhere.
Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, Masahiro Tanaka is dominating. Jabari Parker is taking more time, and Blake Griffin is suspended. But we begin today by imploring you, do not click us off, even though we are going to begin for the one and only time of the year with hockey. It's okay.
We are going to begin with hockey.
We'll be done in a minute.
No, we're going to have more hockey.
No, don't tell them that. The NHL playoffs begin tonight, and there are many storylines to choose from. But the one we're going to start with is this. The best team in all of hockey is the Boston Bruins. And they have drawn as an 8th seed the Detroit Red Wings, who are 3-1 against the Bruins this season. Wilbon, would it be a good thing or a bad thing for the number one team in hockey to go out early?
Well, it'd be a thing that's happened many times before.
Often.
Yeah, this is not, pro football or pro basketball where you look at the number one seed and you think, okay, a bad pro seed is when they go out in the second round. But in the NHL, the number one seed in either conference has gone out many times. And so you look at the Bruins, who have just been on a tear, Tony. It's been prolonged. And they get the Red Wings, who are having a subpar season for the Red Wings.
But they're the Red Wings.
But they are the Red Wings. And so this is an intriguing matchup.
Okay. Look, in general, I would believe this, that if Boston went out to a fairly unknown team like the Columbus Blue Jackets, that it would be disastrous. But if an original 16 goes out to an original 6 team, I can live with it. Though generally speaking, to me, if the number one team in any sport goes out in the first round, that's bad. That devalues the regular season. That's bad.
Wait a minute. We see this in the NHL all the time. I know you agree with this, that in-house, when you are watching an NHL Stanley Cup playoff game, there's usually nothing like it, particularly one-goal games.
Oh, in arena, it's the best experience.
It's so great, and you see the number one seed. We've seen Vancouver go out. Didn't the Capitals go out with the number one seed a few years ago?
You're asking me, do I think it's good or bad?
So how can it be bad? By the way,
bad.
the other storylines here. Not that the only one. The defending champion Chicago Blackhawks are playing a team in St. Louis.
Let's drink.
Because they're the damn champions. Right. That's how we got to them. We're going to get to them again. You may not talk about them, but I will. They're playing the St. Louis Blues, who were the number one seed in the West much of the time. And the Western Conference playoffs will be great.
Fine, another storyline.
What?
There's only one Canadian team in the entire playoffs for the first time in about 40 years. Only Montreal, and they're not expected to win.
They're all in the bottom of the Western Conference.
In your beloved Western Conference, 4 teams are at the bottom. This is Canada's national sport, and this is a bad thing.
It's on them.
It's a bad thing.
It's on them. Well, they can't compete. They can't go out and get players in Canada.
This is a bad thing.
Yeah, you're just saying that because you want, don't you? Scared
Let's go hockey. Let's keep talking.
Scared to say goodnight, Canada. I'm talking about hockey. I'm going to Blackhawks Blues next week, so I'm talking hockey.
The sound you hear is people clicking out of here.
If you thought you heard the last of that Jameis Winston rape allegation, you were wrong. A New York Times investigation into the episode concludes that Florida State and the Tallahassee police did little to determine what really happened. So little, they might have violated federal law. Tony, should this piece in the Times make us look differently at the case?
It does for me. It points out that there was a lack of prosecutorial fervor in this case. There's a lot of evidence out there that nobody even gathered.
Including some videotape
Nobody
evidence.
seemed to want to gather this stuff on the part of the police department. It didn't seem the school wanted any part of this whatsoever when they became aware. Now, look. The results of the final investigation may be the same, but it's less satisfying now because you don't think it was pursued with vigor.
I want to read something from the New York Times report that just stunned me, that the prosecutor, William N. Meggs, acknowledged a number of shortcomings in the police investigation. They just missed all the basic fundamental stuff you're supposed to do, he said. This is the prosecutor. And one other line. University administrators, in apparent violation of federal law, did not promptly investigate either the rape accusation or the witness's admission he had videotaped part of the encounter. when you read things like that, yes, you have to look at it in a different light. Even though we can't draw any new conclusions, it just scares me.
It will change Jameis Winston's life forever, both the episode and the story, because he'll be under scrutiny that he never was before, and he'll have to know that everybody is looking at him. There were two things that jumped out at me, and they are minor things in terms of the investigation, but they jumped out at me. One was that on Thursday nights in Tallahassee, there's a bar where students go and for $10 can drink all the alcohol they want between 9 p.m. and midnight. That's a long period of time. For $10, anybody can do that, and roughly 1/4 of the university president's salary is funded by the Seminole Boosters, the primary financier of the athletic program. How could that not be if you're asking, does Florida State have an interest in seeing justice? How can that not be a conflict?
Does the tail wag the dog? It's just, can we figure out which one is the tail and which is the dog?
And the story is thorough, and it does not make Jameis Winston look good. It does not. Jeff Idelson, president of the Baseball Hall of Fame, is astonished that more attention is not being paid to the fact that Albert Pujols is only 4 homers away from 500. Idelson told USA Today, quote, "I don't know what's happened. It should be front and center. We've had a string of power hitters achieve the mark in the past decade, but that should not diminish how big of a mark it really is," unquote. Wilbon, should we care more that Albert Pujols is closing in on 500?
No. No fault of Albert Pujols is that we know. Baseball did this to itself. And I mean baseball in the broad sense. No individual player. But, Tony, this is what happens when it appears that you had so much cheating for more than a decade, then don't tell me I need to care about it. When I was a kid, 500 home runs might have been the most important individual mark in all of sports, that and the heavyweight championship of the world. You got to 500. I mean, I covered baseball in the early 80s. There were only 10. I think Reggie Jackson was like the 10th or 11th guy. Now there's so many people, and we don't know. We don't know what to make of there. Is it an achievement, or can just anybody slide into it by juicing up?
500 sounds like not that much anymore. Yeah. 600 is the land of Willie Mays. Although 600, Jim Thome is in 600. If Jim Thome can get to 600, maybe 600 isn't as good a home run hitter as he was. We don't think of him as one of the 10 greatest sluggers of all time. And honestly, I thought Albert Pujols had already gotten a 500. And that tells you how much he has disappeared from the face of the earth since going to Los Angeles or Anaheim or whatever they call themselves and playing 2 years on a sub-500 team and getting 30 homers and then 17 homers. And you know how this would be a bigger deal if he was still in St. Louis?
No, Tony, I don't think it would be.
Oh, I do. In St. Louis, where he belongs.
He does. We agree on that. But I don't think I think the home run has just become something that is now passé.
Because it's associated with cheating.
There were so many of them. It is directly associated with
cheating.
With steroids. Cheating. And so Jose Canseco making fun of it and how many people he stuck in the butt with needles. You can't just, the home run doesn't mean what it meant to you and me. Just like the heavyweight championship of the world. It doesn't mean anything to say those words anymore. Nothing.
600 though. 700. If he gets a 700 and he hasn't cheated, if he gets a 700.
There's one guy who got to 700 relatively recently. How'd that work out for him? Do we believe that?
No, we don't.
No, we don't. Masahiro Tanaka has found the major leagues no more challenging than baseball in Japan. Earlier this afternoon, the Yankees pitcher blanked the Cubs for 8 innings on 2 hits, both of them bunt singles. Tanaka reached ball 3 just twice, struck out 10 for the second straight game. He's now 2-0 in 3 starts, which comes on the heels of going 24-0 in 27 starts in Japan last year. Tony, you ready after these 3 starts in the bigs to declare Tanaka the real deal?
You want to slow your roll, Sparky.
Oh, do I have to?
You want to wait just a little while. I think you want to wait till half the season, and there's a lot of reasons why. And he may be great. His strikeout to walk ratio is 28-2 at the moment, and that's spectacular. But to be fair, no American hitter has a book on him at all. He came over here. He didn't come through the minors. You know, he came over here from another country. You got to wait halfway.
Second time around, you're going to give me that cliche?
You know, and he may be that great, but I think you have to wait. My opinion is also tempered, you know, by Daisuke Matsuzaka and Hideki Arabu. Although you Darvish, and you made fun of me for liking him. You ripped me for liking him, but he seems like the real deal. I'm just not sure yet.
You can't be sure, but it's sort of fun. I'm not going to say it reminds me of Fernando Mania. I mean,
not yet.
It's not historic.
No.
I mean, so to me, if I'm going to jump on and declare something, I want to see something historic.
But if he were by July, if he were 11-1.
And you know what? Pitchers ought to be ahead in the cold weather. They played in like 40-degree temperatures in Yankee Stadium, and it's only the Cubs.
I was going to say, beating the Cubs is not like beating the Red Sox in Game 7.
No, it's not, particularly blanking them. And, you know, so I don't want to go crazy, but you look at him, Tony, you look at the pitches he's got. And it looks like he has what is nobody will even know what this is anymore, an old-fashioned screwball, we used to call it, for a right-handed pitcher. The pitcher just cuts in, over the left side of the plate like he's a lefty throwing a curveball. He has stuff, you're right, that hitters have not seen, but they will see it.
Yankees spent a lot of money on him. It seems worth it right now. Steven Strasburg started out like this.
$155 million, right?
Strasburg started out like this. Strasburg last year was a sub-500 pitcher, and this year so far he's 1-2.
That's true.
And he can strike out everybody on the planet.
By the way, I hate to say this, but you know who was in on the bidding for him? The Cubs.
How'd they do on that?
Not well.
Jabari Parker, your boy from Chicago.
That's right.
Was supposed to announce today whether he will go pro or stay at Duke. But Parker remains undecided at this moment, and there is no timetable for Parker to announce that decision. He's already met with Mike Krzyzewski. Wilbon, should Duke fans be getting their hopes up?
Nope. No. And I remember calling you in December from Chicago and telling you I thought there was a good possibility that Jabari Parker would stay in school a second year. And there's still that possibility. But he only talked to his coach, Mike Krzyzewski, today. He said he was going to come back in town from something.
I thought he talked yesterday.
Oh, was it yesterday? Okay, fine. Then don't decide today. You need to sleep on it for longer than 24 hours. This is not whether I'm going to get the blue watch or the gray watch. This is your life and your future and your career. So take all the time you have, I believe, until April 27. Take until April 27 if you need to, and make a decision that you and your family are comfortable with.
There's a complicating factor here, if I'm correct, that there's a Duke basketball banquet tonight.
It's not complicated.
Well, if he was going to stay, what better time to announce?
Oh, you mean he could do that tonight?
The Duke basketball banquet.
Right.
On the other hand, if you don't announce at that banquet,
and kick you out.
I'm going to think you're going to go. So far, all of the one and dones that we talked about all year, they've
all gone.
They're gone.
He's a different kid.
Yeah. Now, if you're going to stay anywhere, you're going to stay at Duke. You're going to play for Krzyzewski,
one and dones,
who coaches the Olympians.
My man, Lou Alding,
and Austin Rivers, and Kyrie Irving, and Corey Maggette. So Mike doesn't keep everybody. If you know what, I think we both agree. If he wants to stay, fine, and if he wants to go, fine. Most guys go.
What's intriguing is, he could also, I was thinking about this because he is from Chicago, and I know his family, a lot of his family members. And this kid, if he comes back to Duke, Tony, with Jahlil Okafor and with what else Duke could have one of those all-time great seasons. Just looking at the talent, which is perhaps unfair. But you know what? He has
Jahlil Okafor, is he from Chicago too, by the way?
Yes, he is.
What a lucky guess on my part.
And so what you can do? You can put us with Derrick Rose on a unicorn if you want, you and your producer friends. So you can do that. And I'll ride with them gladly. So get that ready, producers. Get that visual ready. I like that.
Let's take a break. But coming up, whose future is brighter, Michael Phelps or Tiger Woods?
And would Donald Trump bring more fun to the NFL than Tony's boy Johnny Football?
Donald Trump
sounds like
boy.
a toss-up. You got a conflict here. You love both these guys.
Boys.
Yeah,
both of my boys. But I played golf with one of them. Time to do the Wilbon and toss-up what Tanaka did to the Cubs today.
Please.
What's first?
Toss-up, brighter future, Michael Phelps or Tiger Woods?
In the long term, it's Tiger Woods, because he's going to be able to play golf on a top-tier level till he's 45, and Michael Phelps will never approach that. But in the short term, I'm going to say Michael Phelps, because nobody's bubbled up in the last 2 years as a worldwide dominant swimmer.
Somebody probably will, though.
If he can make
some Aussie
if he can make our Olympic team, he's probably going to get at least 2 relay gold medals. He's going to cement the fact that he's the greatest swimmer of all time, whereas Tiger's not yet the greatest golfer of all time. He's not.
No, that's true, but I look at that as the past or the accumulation of the body of work. The answer is Tiger, because not only can he play at a high level till 45. I mean, we're seeing, what is Phil now? 42, 43?
41, 42, 43.
But he can also play a senior tour, the Champions Tour. There's no champion.
You don't think
swimming.
Phelps can swim when he's 60?
Swimming is junior. There's no champion swimming tour. So
junior references.
If we're talking about making money, it's still going to be Tiger. Tiger's going to make more money. He's going to design
golf courses. Nobody cares about the golf senior tour. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. I mean, come on, let's be fair. Nobody cares.
At least there is a golf senior tour. There's no swimming senior tour.
Toss up, who would you rather have? Steven Strasburg or Giancarlo Stanton?
Let me be clear about this. In the first inning, I want Stanton. Let me tell you what happened last night, because I know you didn't watch. First batter up, rope single. Second batter up, rope single. Third batter up, Stanton. Boom, it's still going.
Look at it.
457 feet.
Whoa!
Steven Strasburg early on.
You know what brew stuff there?
His ERA in the first inning career is 4.10. That is a full run ahead of what he normally pitches. In the first inning, He has
I'm
trouble.
sorry, I thought you and Kirchin had him like being Big Train. I thought he and Walter
He
Johnson
may win 3 Cy Youngs, but he's got to get out of the first.
And since he can't get out of the first right now, and his ERA is 6, I know that because I heard you talk about it this morning for on and on and on. Then I'm going to take Mr. Stanton, whether it's Mike or Giancarlo, because he's hitting them out. And he's hitting home runs at a pace, Tony. It's the pace. He's only 24 years old. He's got 122 home runs already. I know we just talked about
so if he gets to 500, are you going to care?
By the time he gets
You're
there,
going to call Jeff
I
Idelson.
might
He's
care
getting
again.
to 500.
If he played for the Nationals, you and Kirchin would lose it, though, wouldn't you?
Next.
Toss up. Who bring more fun to the NFL? Johnny Manziel or Donald Trump?
Johnny Manziel will be more exciting on the field.
He gets on.
But he's got to get on the field. And it's only when he's on the field. Donald Trump will be more exciting and more fun all the time. He is a 24-hour-a-day news-making machine. My feeling is, though, I don't know, maybe you and I are so old and nobody's as old as us, but when he got to the USFL, the first thing he did was sue the NFL.
I know, I think Donald Trump was fun in the 80s. He had that 80s sort of thing going on, including his hair.
How are they going to let him in?
I don't think that Donald Trump is going to be that much fun for people of a different generation. They don't even know what the USFL was because that was 30 years ago, and it didn't happen on SportsCenter this morning, so how could they know?
Are they going to let him in?
They might have to, unless they move Buffalo to Toronto. I mean, if you want to keep Buffalo and Buffalo and spice it up, sexy it up, Donald Trump is the answer.
He'll be fun because he's a total self-promoter.
Every day
he has no humility.
None. Played golf with you. We know he has no humility.
Last one. Toss up. Who should the Spurs root for tonight? The Mavs or the Grizzlies?
Okay, the Spurs get the loser of this game in the first round matchup.
Yeah.
All right, now they're 8-0 against both teams this year, so they shouldn't care. And I know the Grizzlies 3 seasons ago knocked them out of the playoffs, but I'm going to say they don't want to play Dallas for this reason.
Ooh.
Because I watched Dirk Nowitzki just a few years back win the entire championship by himself. The Grizzlies have nobody who can get as hot as Dirk Nowitzki.
They don't need to. Because the Grizzlies, now that they have their guys back in there and they have Gasol, it's unbelievable that he's the better Gasol right now.
Right now.
But with Gasol and Zebo in there, Tony, their record is like 39-19.
That's good.
They can play. They won the conference finals last year where they got swept by the Spurs. But the Dallas Mavericks have lost 9 straight games to the Spurs. They haven't won in San Antonio in 3.5 years. And if you're the Mavericks, this gives you all the incentive in the world to win on the road tonight. But the Grizzlies, Tony, think they can make a run right now deep. I love what both these teams have done this season.
They don't have the Dirkster. They don't have a guy who can go for 45 anytime. That's it for toss-up. Time for a break, but on the way, we look back at what's been a difficult stretch for Paul Pierce's ankles.
Ooh, that was nasty.
How about that one? You like it?
Plus, Blake gets suspended, and Josh Freeman joins a new team.
What happened to that guy?
Josh Freeman?
We talked about him for days. What happened?
Disappeared.
Happy time, people. Happy 62nd birthday, Bill Belichick. 14 years ago today, on Belichick's 48th birthday, the New England Patriots drafted Tom Brady in the 6th round. Since then, Bill Belichick has won 3 Super Bowls and coached in a total of 5. It is hard to imagine Belichick ever has or ever will have a better birthday present than Tom Brady.
No, and he couldn't even have known at the time how great a president would be.
No. Not so happy anniversary, Mark Burley. On this day 8 years ago, you were banned by White Sox GM Kenny Williams from tarp sliding during rain delays. Burley, now 35, may be too old to tarp slide, but he's still racking up wins. He's 3-0 so far this season for the surprising AL East leading Blue Jays.
Where'd you get that from? That's a cute anniversary, but 11 years ago today, Michael Jordan played his final NBA game. 15 years ago today, Wayne Gretzky announced his retirement from hockey. Jordan Gretzky.
Burley. Happy trails to Paul Pierce's ankles. Pierce probably wishes he didn't play last night, especially when he looks at the tape of Iman Shumpert stitching a clown suit on him. This follows a great tradition of Pierce falling down while being faked out of his entire body by Jameer Nelson and now teammate Joe Johnson.
The Jameer Nelson one was the worst one.
Paul Pierce is going to the Hall of Fame.
By the way, he is. All of the Nets played last night, and they got crushed. They all played, and they got crushed.
By a team not having its best player.
Without Carmelo. That was strange.
Trying to find out we messed up, Reali.
Florida State University has responded to today's New York Times story with a release to their .edu expressing its deep disappointment in the story. 9 bullet points that they emphasize but were either missing or downplayed in the New York Times article. Correction, Reggie Jackson, 13th member of the 500 home run club when he hit it. There have been 10 new members in the last 15 years or so. Chris Johnson, running back to the New York Jets.
No, but he didn't have 500 home
But
runs.
Stanton's kind of like Reggie, right? Batting average, he even hits him a long way. That's kind of a pretty good analogy.
Here we go to the big finish.
Let's do it.
Blake Griffin suspended for tonight's Clippers finale for receiving his 16th technical last night. Is that a big deal?
No. Well, he's got to tone it down for the playoffs. You get to start over, but you can't have technicals throughout the playoffs. Got to cut that out. The Giants have signed Josh Freeman. Remember him? Good fit.
Can you name any other backup quarterbacks at the Giants? You know why you can't? Because Eli Manning is basically an
He's like
Iron
Peyton.
Man. He doesn't.
They don't. Nobody gets snaps when you play behind him.
He doesn't miss games. Carmelo Anthony sat out last night. Will miss the Knicks finale tonight with a shoulder injury. Has he played his last game for the Knicks?
No. I think he's going to stay.
Not going to go to your team, the Bulls? Not going to do that, really?
I'm not sure. Two hedge fund billionaires bought the Milwaukee Bucks, forget this, $550 million. Good investment?
Well, Herb Cole bought him for $18 million, sold him for a lot. You know, they're the worst team in the league
It's
right
a
now.
stunner.
But again, what's the operative word? Billionaires.
Yeah.
Last one.
Wow.
3 NHL game ones tonight. Canadians, Lightning, Blue Jackets, Penguins, Stars, Ducks.
I got Tampa, I got Columbus winning at Pittsburgh, and I got the Ducks and Coach Boudreau.
And we are out of time. We will try and do better the next time. And I'm Tony Kornheiser.
I'm Mike Wilbon. Same time tomorrow, Knuckleheads. Check out the podcast on iTunes. $550 million for the Milwaukee Bucks?
A lot. I'm going to be a table man.
Postage meter companies used to be the only way to print postage, and they took advantage of that, charging whatever ridiculous fees they wanted. But those days are over, thanks to Stamps.com. With Stamps.com, you get more features than a postage meter at a fraction of the cost. All you need is your computer and printer to print official U.S. postage for any letter, any package, any class of mail. With Stamps.com, everything you can do at the post office, you can do right from your desk. It's so convenient. And right now, Stamps.com has a special offer when you use promo code PTI. Get a no-risk trial, plus a $110 bonus offer that includes a digital scale and up to $55 free postage. Don't wait. Go to Stamps.com today, and before you do anything else, click on the microphone at the top of the homepage and type in PTI. That's Stamps.com, promo code PTI.
What makes the Indy 500 the greatest spectacle in racing?
Back home again in India.
And we are green. Everyone in the grandstands are on their feet.
You're now a winner of the Indianapolis 500, my friend.
The Indianapolis 500, Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific on ABC.